Pete's saying it's on now. Excellent. Yeah, I didn't have it turned on. Usually helps, doesn't it? All right. Welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub Live. So these are my Sunday live sessions where we get to start, I suppose, getting prepared for a new week of work and discuss a few topics. Usually Sunday afternoons, people aren't doing too much. Just like I said, prepping for work. So this is a good chance to talk about a few topics and kick off a new week. Guys, grab a drink if you want to sit and get comfortable. We'll be here for about an hour. All right. There's a few people on now. Thank you for joining. So we've got Travis, Mandarin Jack, Nico. We've got the FSA Earth Moving, Wilson Civil Earthworks, Pete Rybelt, FSA Earth Moving. We've got a lot of people on, which is really good. I will make a start. So yeah, these are the weekly live sessions. Thank you for joining. Like I always do, I kick it off talking about a couple of things that I did during the week. Then I start a topic and then I open up to everyone for questions. So if you've got something you want to ask, write it down so you can ask me. And then if you need to duck out or you need to leave earlier, these are going to be recorded and I'm posting them up as podcasts. So you can see them, you can hear them or watch them on Spotify and on YouTube. So, and also on Apple Podcasts. So there you go. All right. So a quick shout out to all my sponsors. So you can see I'm wearing a Zoomline hat. So I'm officially sponsored now by Spartan Machinery as well. So thank you to Spartan for joining and sponsoring me. Basically, I've got Spartan. I've got to thank Network Finance, JR Safety Co, Melbourne Tractors, Nexgen Landscapes, and the Bole Group. So thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring. Like I always say, your sponsorship helps me continue on this quest, trying to help everyone in our industry. So thanks very much. I'll start off with a quick update on my project. So Project Spalding, I'm building a warehouse where I used to keep all my machinery. So the warehouse is well underway. We have been creating or making panels there, or the concreters, not myself, but we're almost finished making all the panels because we're doing tilt up. So that means the tilt up panels are all the walls are being made on site, so they're not pre-manufactured. They've got one that the second last one that they've meshed up and had it all formed, ready to pour on Monday. And then once that dries, they'll start the last panel on top of that. And then that'll be it. Then once everything dries, they'll start raising the panels and putting up the walls. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think once the walls are up and a roof is on, I feel like that's the main part of the project. And then I can sort of see, the rest of it I can sort of do internally, But that'll be, I suppose, how can I say it? It'll be a big milestone for me. So that'll be a big milestone once all the walls are up and the roof is on. Thanks for joining, guys. So who have we got? We've got a few today. We've got Stereo 84, Osborne, Foosh, Pete Dean. Thanks for joining. We've got Dragon, Ian Beats, Tony. Thank you very much, guys. So it's good to see a lot of people coming on and listening. So that's Project Spalding. That is moving along very nicely. I finally had Greater Western Water install a water meter. That was on Friday. So they called up and said they can fit it in a bit earlier, which was fantastic because now we have water on site and guys can start washing their concrete off their equipment a lot easier. I had to, before that, I had to go and get like 1,000-litre IBC and fill it with water so the guys could keep washing all their stuff. And I know that's a bit of a pain in the bum. So now at least we've got proper tapped water on site so the guys can use that to wash all their equipment. So the water tapping's done, and I also have on the way temporary power. So we've had the temporary power pole inspected. It's passed, and now we're just waiting for a new connection from the energy company. So that'll be also good because then the guys don't have to keep using generators like they have been till now. So thanks to all the guys that are working on that project and for putting up with things. I know it's not easy, but yeah, the generators, you won't have to use them anymore after we get the power, and the rest should be all smooth sailing. So thank you very much. Merch, as you can see, Earthworks Hub, we do have our own merch. So if you're really interested in supporting Earthworks Hub, go onto the website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, and get yourself some merch. I've got t-shirts, t-shirts with this style, which is the Earthworks Hub with a cog around it. Then you've got just Earthworks Hub without this. You've got some with Earthworks Hub and then all the sponsors on the back. And I've also introduced hoodies, so you can get a hoodie now. And like I said last time, I'm going to get some beanies and hats made up, especially now that winter's coming up. I think beanies might be a hot item, so keep an eye out for that. I'll let you know once I've got those on there. So merch, what is next? Oh, I had a win this week. So on Instagram, we hit 2,000 followers. So a big thank you to all the followers on Instagram. I'm trying to keep all the material, varied and trying to keep everyone happy, trying to keep people informed on things. So hopefully the content, it looks like everyone's happy with what I'm posting, and I'm going to keep doing that. So thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Even TikTok has actually gone up a fair bit. I think we're over 1,500 now. On YouTube, we're over 280 subscribers now. So just keep subscribing, keep following, keep liking. Thank you for the likes. I can see some more happening now. That stuff shows me that what I'm doing is being appreciated and people are enjoying it. So I'm going to keep doing things. So thank you for all your likes and follows, guys. So 2,000 followers on Insta. Very happy with that. Thank you, guys. So what else happened? So last week I was working on the basement. I did a couple of posts that they had a lot of interest. So obviously people like that sort of stuff. Basements are a big thing in Melbourne, especially. We do a lot of basements. Yeah, he's saying FSA. He's saying nice. Thanks very much, man. Yeah, so we do a lot of basements in Melbourne. Depending on what suburbs, you can end up with a lot of rock, or you can end up with a lot of mudstone or clay. Fortunately, the suburb I'm working in is more sort of closer to the inner city, I suppose, in a way, not far from the city. So it's like starts off as clay, then becomes like a mudstone, then it's like a clay stone sort of thing. It's very, very, very solid. So on my videos, you would have seen a big 35 tonner pulling out all the mudstone. And then I did a video on how I detail the walls between the piers. So a lot of guys like those videos. So I'm going to keep doing a bit more of that stuff. So yeah, everyone does it different. I had a few good suggestions from people. Very, very thankful that people are willing to give advice. Like I always say, you never stop learning. So thank you to everyone that was commenting. And yeah, look, I'm happy to try different things. Yeah, so a couple of guys were saying to use like a rock wheel or a rock grinder. So I might try that next time. But I did do one of those. I did use a rock grinder once on a basement where we had like full bluestone and basalt, and it sort of wasn't as effective. But I'll try it on the next clay one as well. So yeah, I was using a case CX145, so I ended up using a 14 or 14 and a half ton case machine. Like I always say, one of my favorite machines in the 14 ton range. What do I like so much about it? I feel like in that 14 tonner, I feel like it's a mix between my 5 and my old 20 tonner. It's like the perfect mash. So it's like big enough to do the job of a 20 and pull out material when I need to, bulk out. I can load trucks with it or whatever. But it's also small enough that I can fit, and having that zero swing or minimal swing, I can fit in like little tight basements. I can dig and detail, and it's sort of sensitive enough to let me go into the corners and lightly pull material out without breaking away too much, instead of ripping it all out. So that's why I feel like the case CX145 is good, and it feels stable. So it almost feels like I'm in a 20 tonner with a big rear end on it. So it's stable, but like I said, being that minimal swing, I can be up close to a wall and turn and not worry about scratching the bum or breaking something. So, and I can get up tight up against walls and then scrape out against the walls. So that's why I like that machine. Plenty of power. You can use all sorts of attachments on there. What have we got? So we've got a comment from Pete. Pete does a lot of basement work day in, day out. 14 ton is a perfect size while detailing under the capping beam and doing all your pad footings. And when there's a tight spot. Yeah. So yeah, no, thanks very much for agreeing, Pete. Yeah, they are. The 14 tonner is a perfect machine inside a basement. I've got my 5 tonner in there as well, and I'm doing some of the strip drains and things like that. But and the biggest problem with the 14 that I'm using is it doesn't have the offset arm, so it makes it a bit hard to do all the thickenings around the edges. So we're using my 5 tonner for that, but I've had to use the hammer to break away the clay or mudstone because it's just so solid. And if we try with the 14 from the side without the offset, I keep pulling out too much material. So I've got to be careful not to widen those thickenings too much. So if that had the offset boom, that would be the ultimate machine. CX145, rubber tracks, offset boom, perfect machine, man. Tilting hitch, that would be like the whole lot. So very happy with that case machine. I started doing a bit of a review on it, and some people said you didn't finish it, and you're right, I haven't finished the review. The problem is that we're moving so fast with this basement that I can't afford to get out and keep doing reviews and talking because the customers there constantly trying to get me to keep moving. So I can't actually get out and record. I haven't got time. So and we're getting trucks and things. It's just all happening. So I will have to make some time, even if I have to stay back and just sit in the machine and just talk about it. But the KCX145 definitely a really good machine. And it's not the first time I've used one, so I've used them a couple of times. I even used the Case CX235 not long ago. A lot of it was hammer work, but I did use it for trenching and stuff. And even the 235 was very good with the blade at the front. So I think overall the case machines are pretty well built. And then somebody also asked a question on TikTok about how do we deal with the strip drains and where do they go? So I started doing a video on that. I haven't posted it yet, but basically we dig a groove in between each pillar. So the center of, we get to the center of each pillar, dig a slight little groove just wide enough, 200 mil, just say, to fit that strip drain in, and then dig it down underneath the thickening and out towards, into the floor of the basement. And then we'll do a stormwater trench like all the way through. So to join all those up. So that's what we'll do, but you'll see a video of that coming out shortly for anyone that is interested. So we had me doing that this week. I had a 35 ton there. He was loading all the trucks with all the material. So we had that going out. I did a couple of posts this week with some more things, stall holders that I saw during the diesel dirt and turf, and that attracted a lot of attention. Sorry guys, getting a dry throat. I put out a few posts from some of the stalls that I looked at the diesel dirt and turf. Some of them got a lot of attention. One of them was the concrete taxi. So these guys will turn up to a job and turn up with bags of concrete in the back of a truck, and it has a mixer attached to it, and then they'll mix the concrete as you need it. So a lot of guys are saying, why don't you just call a little mini mix truck instead and just have it turn up when you need it? Or why don't you just have the bags and mix them yourself? What are the actual benefits of having that concrete taxi there? Marchin, thanks for joining. So I've got a few people on now. So the benefits, I suppose, a lot of people have been saying that some of the benefits, thank you for the likes, are that you can mix the concrete as you need it. So you might need it there for most of the day and you don't need all the concrete at once. So, if you call the little mini mix, you'd have to pay like a waiting time. and they wouldn't just hang around there all day. And if they just dumped the concrete and left, you'd be drying too quick. So I suppose the advantage of concrete taxi is that you can mix a couple of bags of concrete at a time if you're working in the backyard of a house, and then you just need to cart with a wheelbarrow or something, a couple of barrows at a time, and they can sort of hang around while you're finishing off and then come back to the front. So I suppose that's one of the things that I can see that would be a benefit of that. If anyone has any comments on that, let me know. Or if you've used them before and you want to give an opinion, let me know as well. Once again, thank you to the people that have joined. So we've got All Sorted Excavations, Ascend Earthworks, Caden, SCC Excavations. We've got Marchin, John, Gauchi, Jat, Contrunden. So hopefully I got that right. Mandarin Jack still here. Thank you for the likes as well. I did also a post on an auto greaser from Alum Lube. That seemed to be a bit of a hit. I think it's a good thing to have on your machine, especially if you hate greasing, if you've got operators that you think may not get out and grease it as much as they should. I think putting in an auto greaser would be advantageous. I didn't get a price on it. That's probably one thing I should have asked, what the rough estimate is. But I imagine it would be good. I hired a 5-ton excavator once, which I've never seen an auto greaser on a 5-tonner, but this one had it. And it was good because for the whole time I had it, I didn't have to worry about greasing. So we just basically just got in the machine and used it every day. Didn't have to worry about greasing it at all. So I think that was a good thing to have. So the auto greaser from Alum Lube, Saw Quip. I did one where they have the hydraulic saws that attach to your machines. I've never used one of those, but I imagine it'd be really handy to have when you've got like a rural property where you got to cut trees down, and instead of doing it with chainsaws, just have it with your machine, and you can be in the comfort of your cabin, and you can close the cabin and have no noise, rather than being there with a chainsaw trying to cut it all. So I think that would be a big advantage, having the saw on your excavator. I also did one on Piranha wood chippers. So they're an Australian-made wood chipper, which is good to see that we've got some Australian-made stuff still happening. Seems like a tough little unit, using a lot of good parts, and they made everything accessible. So all the filters and they are really easily accessed to do your servicing and that on there and repairs. I did one on the Case Minotaur, which is a DL550. So the Case Minotaur is it's like a mixture of a posi track and a dozer. It's an actual giant with steel tracks on it. It's like a giant posi track with steel tracks. I don't know what I was asking on my post. What application would you use it for? And we had a whole mix of answers. Some of the guys were saying you use it like a posi track or like a dozer, but you have the advantage of having a 4-in-1 on it. Other guys were saying that they're pretty useless. You'd rather just get a dozer then. So mixed results on that one. And then I had a sleeper grab. I did one on a sleeper grab. Chris McCurry, thanks for joining. All Trade Trailers, Caden, thanks for joining, guys. I think that the sleeper grab is a fantastic idea. So doing retaining walls myself, I know what it's like when you're manually lifting those sleepers, and especially the concrete ones, and you're trying to put them in between the beams and that, and catch your fingers and all sorts of stuff. So that sleeper grab would be perfect. Just hook it onto your hitch, lift each sleeper, put it on, and then move on to the next one. So I reckon that the sleeper grabs are a perfect idea, especially for landscapers, retaining wall builders. Why manually lift when you can use a sleeper grab? But you do have to be careful. You do have to be careful because I've heard that sometimes the sleepers can slip out of those grabs. So you just got to be really careful that you're not like standing under it or have it over your toes and stuff. Just be really careful. So that's the posts for the week. That's the update on the jobs that I've been doing. We had 2,000 followers for anyone that joined just recently. So thank you for the 2,000 followers on Instagram. Hopefully we get to 2,000 on TikTok shortly. I wanted to open up, actually, before I get to that, we have some more listings on Earthworks Hub. So apart from having Spartan Machinery, who sells Zoomline machines, thank you once again. Apart from having them come aboard, and they'll be listing their businesses on here shortly as well. But I've got the website open. We've had ACI, GPS construction equipment list. We've had True Excavations list on the website. Yeah, so that's ACI Contech. Who else have we had on here? Mills Excavation, and then we've had Even Financial and a couple of other guys on there. So guys, thank you for listing your businesses on the website. Hopefully you're getting some work out of that. I just want to remind everyone that if you have a business, think about how does everyone know about your business? How does everyone know that you exist? If you're not advertising, or if you haven't got a big range of contacts, they're not going to know about you. So the best way would be Earthworks Hub. Go on there, put your business on the site. There's a whole range of categories. You can put yourself in one of those categories, and then if people need your service or your trade, they'll look up the trade or service and you'll appear. So this is Australia-wide, earthworkshub.com.au. Make sure you list your business on there, especially in this quiet time. I suppose you can't go past at least trying to advertise your business somewhere where a lot of people access that information and look for things. I've already had guys that are listed on there saying that they've had a few phone calls and inquiries and things. So it's good. It's working, obviously. And the same, and vice versa. If you need any like trade or service for any of your projects, go to Earthworks Hub and try and use those services that are on there. So let's try and help each other out. It's the only way we're going to get through all this quiet period. DigTech, thanks for joining. Hulls Diesel, New South Wales Trucks and Forklift. Jess, Dylan, Kai. So we've got a lot of people on board. Thanks for listening. Now, speaking of that topic, it's a very, very quiet period. And I hear a lot of people in the industry haven't got work, or they're only working a couple of days a week. It is very, very quiet. And this is going to lead me to my topic for today. So I'll start off with this. And my topic's going to be how to get work in this quiet period. How can you try and keep going or keep your business going while we're in this quiet period? So I'm open to people making suggestions, but in between that, I'm going to go on and talk about some of the things or some of the ideas I have or suggestions for us to all try and keep getting work and continue our business in this really, really quiet time. Because this may go on for a while. I'm hearing stories about interest rates actually going up and people losing a lot more jobs. And if that's the case, for instance, if interest rates keep going up, that's just only going to deter people from building even further, which means we're going to have in the excavation or earthworks world less work for us to do. So I think it's important that we talk about what are the other options, because there's going to be a point where you may not have work for a few days or a few weeks even. So you got to think ahead and start planning a little bit. So especially if you have a lot of workers, I feel for a lot of the businesses that have a lot of workers on board, because you've got to keep them going and earning at the same time. So I do feel for you guys. So here's a couple of suggestions. One is probably a little bit biased, but I'm going to say advertise, and I'm saying advertise in general, but I'm going to also say advertise on somewhere like Earthworks Hub. You can go to the Earthworks Hub website, register, add a listing. There's a free version on there. So if you don't want to spend any money, there is a free version. So you can put in your business, what you do, and then pick a category so that people can find you. If you want to spend a little bit, I think it's $15 a year. So for $15 a year, I reckon it's worth having a go. Put your business on there. You can pick multiple categories. So, if you're a business that does concrete cutting, and you do a bit of excavation, or you're a landscaper and you do retaining walls and you do rock wall building and other things, you can pick multiple categories instead of just one. So for $15 a year, I think you can't go wrong. Try it. Put your name, put your business on there and see how it goes. So advertising, if you don't want to choose that avenue, or if you want another avenue and you already have chosen that one, you can go on and make a Google business page. You can go onto Facebook. You can advertise yourself on all the Facebook groups. So there's a lot of earth moving and earthworks Facebook groups. Make sure you use your social media. So you may think that, oh, it's a waste, putting up posts. But if you don't put up posts, people don't know you're there. They don't know about you. So a lot of times I used to say, oh, you know what, when I'm putting up things on Eagle One Industries, no one's really like, I'm not getting any actual, physical work out of it. But a lot of times that keeps me in mind with other guys. So other guys, like old supervisors that I used to work for, or old customers, they used to remind them of me, and they'd say, oh yeah, that's right, Eagle One, I forgot, he's got a posi track. Oh, he's got a 5-tonner. I'll go call him. That's right. You know what I mean? So if they see you doing some work in your posts, that'll remind them of you and what you do. Got a Deodoroted. Sorry, I don't know if I've said that right. Thank you for your comment. Hi from Adelaide. Subdivisions are busy here. What are they like in Victoria? Always work for excavators. So he's saying in Adelaide they're very busy. I would say in Melbourne it's really really gone quiet. There's a lot of guys that haven't got work anymore. So in Melbourne, I can vouch for Melbourne. It is very very quiet. Yeah, there's a lot of subdivision work has died off. New estates aren't really opening up. So that's why a lot of guys if I go onto Facebook, I see a lot of guys starting to dry hire their machines, or a lot of operators looking for work. So obviously they've been laid off. It's gone very, very quiet. And everyone I talk to in the industry always says the same thing. It's gone very, very quiet. People aren't building, interest rates are high. So if they're not building, we're not doing new subdivisions. So it's very, very quiet. And a lot of people aren't renovating because they need that money to keep paying their houses off. So we're not doing a lot of residential work. So it is quiet. So what I was going to say is, yeah, you can advertise if you do want to try and, keep your business going. Places like Earthworks Hub. If you want to go onto somewhere like Facebook, put it onto Facebook groups. If you have social media, make sure you post things about, jobs that you're doing, show what machines you have, and you never know what you'll get out of it. Just keep posting. A lot of guys may say they don't want to work for plant hires, but that's another option. Register with all the plant hire companies. Even if you get 1 or 2 days a week, out of them, it might get you through. So try and use those plant hires to keep you going. Start calling some of your old contacts. Call some guys that you haven't spoken to in a while. Some of the old customers, like I said earlier, that you haven't worked for a while. Some of the old supervisors on jobs that you worked for. Even call some of your other friends that are in the industry, and they might say, "Oh, you know what? There's a job that I can't do. Can you do it for me?" Or they can't get to it because they might have a bit on. So make sure that you're calling people, contacting, make contact with someone every couple of days. Ring people, just say, "How you going? You know what I mean? Have you got much on? What have you got anything coming up?" You've got to keep that constant contact. Drop into sites. So I said this in another one of my podcasts. Drop into a site. If you're driving past a building site, go in and say, "Hey guys, do you need any earthworks? I've got this and this machine. Or have you got anything coming up, or another job somewhere else, or something you want me to quote?" So you got to drop in. If you see a civil site and you do civil work, drop into the site, introduce yourself to the supervisor, tell them what machines you've got, tell them how many workers you've got, what you can do, your capabilities, and then sell yourself a bit. You know what I mean? Tell them that you're looking for work. It's a little bit quiet, and some of them might actually put you on. So Ascend Earthworks has sent a comment. So Ascend is saying the work will come back. The government will have to build to keep up with the population. I've never got much out of social media, but talking to